Everybody, welcome or welcome back to the channel. My name's Nicole and this is Dusty Book Sniffers, and today we are here for a book haul video of all the secondhand books I purchased in December. So let's get started. Well, good morning or good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Thank you for taking some time out of your day and spending it with me while I prattle on about the books that I have purchased during the month of December, which is quite evident that I have no self-control at all whatsoever, not even a little bit. Nothing, zip, nada. No control whatsoever. All right, it is a big one, okay? I have not even counted how many books I got, but I went to several different places during the month of December. Okay, I went to the Nanango markets to see Bob the Booker, and then I did a secondhand bookshop crawl with my daughter. In one day, we drove the equivalent of driving to Sydney, which is about 1,200 kilometers. So we did a lot. It was actually, I think it was closer to 1,100 kilometers. So not quite Sydney. But anyway, we pretty much spent the whole day driving. So yeah. All right. Now, these are not in any particular order because they have all got mixed up because they got all chucked in some bags, so I had somewhere to put them. I was planning on filming this at the end of December, but time just got away from me and I didn't get it done. So, as I said, this is for the entire month of December, and they're all secondhand books. There is no new books in this one, although I did get a couple of pre-order ones, but I've talked about them in sprints and stuff like that, so I'm not going to go through those. And you'll see them anyway because a lot of them are getting talked about very, very soon. All right, so I'm going to start with the ones that I got, that I know that I got from the Nango markets. So I got some more Agatha Christie's, and then I've given a list to Bob to get some books for me from Women's Prize for Fiction and some Australian authors that I'm chasing and stuff like that. And they're pretty hard to find in a lot of other places. So I've been lucky enough to find them. I do still have to update my lists and everything that I have on my phone. I've just got a note on my phone of the lists, and so I just cross them out as I get them and whatnot. So it makes it super easy when I go to a bookstore, and I don't necessarily go just to browse. I'll go, okay, I'm looking for this author, then I'll spend a certain amount of time going through the store looking for that author, then I'll look for this author, then I'll look for that author. So at any given time, I can spend, 2-3 hours in a secondhand bookstore depending on what I'm looking for at the time. So I've got 3 now that I can go to at any time. I go down to visit Savannah. There's 2 that I can definitely go to, and then there's one up closer to me that I can go and visit when if I go over to the coast or anything like that. So there's that. And it'll just depend which way I go home and whatnot. So if I go home going south, then I can go and visit so it'll just depend. But I'll probably go there on a day specifically for that, not when I'm doing something else, so I can spend the whole day on a Saturday, and they're open all day on a Saturday, which is great. All right, I'm going to start with the Agatha Christie's that I got. I have shown these on sprints and whatnot. So some of these there's a couple of repeats and whatnot, because I got a couple for my daughter as well that she was chasing. That I forgot to give to her. And so yeah, so I like the real vintage covers and all that sort of stuff. So, but some of them are really damaged, so I'm sort of replacing them. So one of them that was really damaged was Murder on the Orient Express. So I got this one to replace the one that I had. Now the ones that I had were similar to these sort of covers. Okay. Sleeping Murder was one that was really damaged as well. So I got both of those. I'm not going to go into detail what they're about because I am planning on reading quite a number of Agatha Christie's this year. So yeah, so you will get to hear what these are all about over the course of the year. But yeah, Sleeping Murder was really damaged. It had pages falling out of it and everything. So I grabbed that one again. And then, as I said, Murder on the Orient Express I grabbed this Sleeping Murder one for Savannah to put on her shelf. So, I mean, $1, couldn't go wrong. The ears are dog-eared and all that sort of stuff, but they're also ones that I can mark up as I'm reading them as well if I want to take any notes. She doesn't care if I write in them. This was another one that I had that was also really damaged as well. So I grabbed that one. This one still has a page that is loose in it, but the one that I have, the spine was all falling apart. So I grabbed that one. And he said he'll just keep looking for me to get them, and then I can just take the ones that I don't want back to him, or whatever the case may be. But the thing is, like, I got that adversary one, that one there. I got this one as well, was another one, why they didn't ask evens, but I don't think I actually had this one. I can't see it on my shelf. So yeah, and I've got a couple more that I've got to go and check, and I was just checking before. So, but yeah, that's another one. And these are the covers that I'm going for. So I want to replace most of those. As you can see, that's a little bit different. And then I got two Death on the Niles because I really like this cover. This was only $1. Like, this is hardly, I don't even think this has been read, to be honest. I love this cover, but I also like this cover as well. This one will probably go to Savannah, to be honest. I think I'll like to keep that one. But yeah, but anyway, I've got two there, and I didn't have Death on the Nile. It was really badly damaged. Like, I couldn't, yeah, it just, as soon as you touch it, it started falling apart. I also got Spider's Web as well. Cracked Mirror was another one that was also damaged, so I got that one. And I also got Passenger to Frankfurt was another one that I didn't have, and Endless Night was the one that I didn't have. So I got all of those. They cost me a total, what have I got there? $6, $7, $8, $9, $10. That cost me for all those books. And I also got this one as well, which I think I already had, but I wasn't 100% sure. And it turns out I didn't have. So yeah, so I'm glad that I've got that one now. Although it's not in these covers, and these are the covers that I'm chasing. And that's what I said to him. I'm chasing these particular covers, but I said, just grab the other ones, because even if they're in better condition, it'll be nicer to read those ones anyway. But I just want the covers from the other ones. So they are all the Agatha Christie. So what did I say? I got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 10, 11 of them. So $11 for those. So they can now go on the shelf, and I can take those real damaged ones off, because some of them were just unrepairable. I think last time I talked to you about them, I was saying that I might be able to repair them. But yeah, they were beyond it. All right, the next lot of books that I got, let me just now, I've talked about this. I just got to move some cross stitch. Sorry about this. I've talked about these before, and I got these from Bob the Booker. And let me just get them out of the bag. Okay, so I've been wanting to read the J.D. Robb series for a while, and I believe there is like 52, 54 maybe in the series. Now, ages and ages ago, I was watching a girl that was reading through this series. So every time I watched a video, she had read one of these books, or every second video and whatnot. Her name is Amanda from Reading and Writing Life. So yeah, so she was reading through it, and every time she talked about it, I was very intrigued about them. Now, I don't read a lot of Nora Roberts, but I have heard a lot of people that don't read Nora Roberts do like this series. So I'm pretty keen to read it. Now, I ended up getting 10 books. These are all $2 each. Now, I can handle $2 each. You know, overall, I'm going to only spend, you know, like maybe $120 all up, because maybe some books might be $5 or whatever. But, you know, I'm going to spend $120 rather than, you know, a few $100 on books, because I mean, even if I got these in the store, I'm going to be looking at spending $5 plus, or more likely they're going to be all like $12 to $20. So anyway, I got the first two when I went visiting, and yes, they are different sizes, but at $2 each. I don't really care. So this is the first one, A Naked in Death, and then A Glory in Death is the second one. So I've got the first two to start, and I'm just going to slowly work through these. I'm not putting any timestamp on it or anything like that. So I'm just going to keep working through them. Now, I've got a whole heap of other ones that are not in order. Now, I believe this is like 4 or 5. I have Born in Death as well. I also have Memory in Death. I do not know what number they are. I also got Reunion in Death. But I do know that some of these are early in the piece, but they're keeping an eye out for them. And the best part is that Bob's wife is actually a J.D. Robb lover. Like, she was so excited when I picked up the books and said, yep, I definitely want these. I've never seen them there before. It was the first time, and I just took them all and whatnot. And because I had been struggling to find the first one, and I didn't want to pay $25 for it, because the only place I could get someone to order it was Dimmicks, and it was going to be $23.95 or something. or $24.95 or whatever. So the other ones that I got is a Vendetta in Death. We've got Salvation in Death. We've got Visions in Death, and we've got Forgotten in Death. Now, I'm not going to go into detail of these. Like, if you've been around for a while, you know about this series and all that sort of stuff. So I'm pretty excited that I have them. I do have to send the list through to Bob and his wife, so they know what I've got, and so what they can get, and then I can just cross that off. So basically all I do is I take the stuff that I've got on my notes, I do it in a text form, and then I just cross out the ones that I already have, and then they have that on their phone and they're happy with that. So, and that's how they've been getting a lot of books for me, because I've got them looking for other books for me as well, especially the Women's Prize for Fiction long list books and shortlist books, because they're not all in print anymore. So it's getting harder and harder to find them. So I got 10 JD Robb books, so I'm excited to start that. Obviously, I'm going to start with Naked in Death because that's the first one, and I'll get a good feel of the author and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I'm excited. Like, I haven't been able to get these secondhand, and as I said, I do not want to fork out a lot of money for them, so that's why I'm looking at them for secondhand. So it's going to take me a while to get them, but as I said, I've got number 1 and 2. I'll get them on top of number 3 as soon as I start reading them. I'm probably not going to start reading them until March is probably when I'll start reading those. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting into them. All right, the next lot of books that I got from the markets, let me just grab those. Okay, so the next lot of books that I got are ones that I've been chasing of Joy Detman. I come across Joy Detman in August of last year. It was a recommendation from Chrissy. She picked my TBR and basically had me read the start of the Woody Creek series, which I believe there are 7 books in that series, and that was called Pearl in the Cage. And so since then, I have read a couple of other ones. I've read Jacaranda Blue, and I also read... Oh, what was the other one I read? Silent Inheritance, was it? I can't remember now. But anyway, I haven't put that video out yet. That is a video that's coming where I'm meeting the author for the first time. So you'll get to see that soon. It's in the editing process at the moment. But I really liked her storytelling, and I really liked how she weaved the, like, in the Pearl of the Cage, it was quite interesting. There was a whole lot of nothing happening, but at the same time, it was so compelling, I had to keep turning the pages. And I also felt the same way about Jacaranda Blue as well. And there was another book that Chrissy said to me to read, but I never got to that one. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to reading more of her stories, and they've come through for the fans. Now, I had a Jacaranda Blue book already, and it has jacarandas on it, but I actually I didn't like the cover. So and it was a little bit damaged as well, but they've actually come through the fans and got me a brand new copy. I actually really like this cover. So this one is in Maidenville, population 2,800, a town where nothing ever happens until one hot summer afternoon when the respectable skirts of Maidenville are lifted. Does something sinister lurk behind the neatly trimmed hedges and the white picket fence that divide this sleepy town? Then a 16-year-old boy goes missing. Few come close to knowing the horrifying truth, but after 44 years of self-denial, Judy Stella Templeman is beginning to blossom. So it was a very interesting story, this book. I really enjoyed it, but I'm glad that I've got this new one. I'd actually like to revisit this book as well, because I felt like I burnt through it pretty quickly. I'd like to just revisit a little bit more, but I'm glad I've got this little copy now that is in really good condition. It's like brand new. Like, it hasn't, I think I'm the first person that's opened it. So yeah, so there's that one that they got. So the other book that I got is Malloway. This was the one that Chrissy was recommending to me. So I'm glad that I've got that. And again, brand new. I got it for $2, $22.95 originally was. So I saved myself $20. I don't know what this one was about, but I'm glad that I've got it, and it's in pretty good condition. So Anne Burton was born on the riverbank the night her father tried to burn the house down. 6 years later, her sister Liza disappears while they are staying at their uncle's property. What Anne sees that day robs her of her memory and her speech. Anne escapes the anguish of childhood, finding love and a new life away from Malawindi. But there is no escaping from the Burton family and its dark secrets. Anne must return to Malawindi to confront her past that she is never seems to be free from. So yeah, so that is sounds like an interesting book. And as I said, this one was the one that Chrissy did recommend to me. Now these other ones I have not heard about before. So Malwini must be part one, because this one here, her father has refused to grow to move on, but Anne had good reason has good reason to move forward. Her past does not taint the lives of her children. Only the strong survive Malawindi. Some get away, but even the fight to escape the town's dark legacy. Jack Burton escaped for 6 years. He has been missing, presumed dead. Still, memories of him continue to dominate the life of his family. His eldest son, Johnny, has left the priesthood to return to Malawindi, where he is haunted by dreams. So we've got Malawindi, and then this is called Yesterday's Dust. So it sounds like it's got different characters and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I'm assuming that this is I don't know when this one was published. Let me have a look. I don't know, it doesn't have it. 2001. That is from. So yeah, so I'm not too sure what the go is there, but they sound like two different characters and all the rest of it. So I know now I need to read this one first, and then I can read Yesterday's Dust, set in the same town, so probably different characters. And then we also have Henry's Daughter. This is an old library book that I got for $2. Laurie Smith Owen is balancing on the edge of adolescence. She has 11 brothers. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. 9 living at home, and the twins who live with Auntie Eva. Then the family life starts unraveling, and the Smith Owen children try to save themselves, and in doing so discover that blood ties means everything. So yeah, and that's all it's got really, and then it's just like little blurbs and all the rest of it. So yeah, so that sounds like a little bit of a family saga type book. So I'm happy, and I just love her writing, so that's why I got all these ones. And then we have, and I have to agree with this. Joy Detman is a natural-born storyteller whose dark tales of rural life are addictive, and that was from The Age. So this one, okay, so this is some short stories by Joy Detman, and basically I'm happy that I've got this one, because it says here at the beginning of her writing journey, she does a lot of short stories and stuff, and this is the complete collection of Joy Detman's exquisite short stories. We meet an old coot in a rusty ute who picks up a hitchhiker. A neighbour reaches across the language divide to lend a helping hand. A gravedigger might just have saved a young man's life. An exhausted farmer's wife lusts after a china cup, and Granny Jordan is losing her marbles, and an author is disturbed by the rats under the floorboards. So it sounds like a really fun time read, actually, just by that description alone. So, and there's lots of praise blurbs and everything on the back of it. So I'm pretty happy to do that, and that fits in well for this year to fit in more short stories. So this will probably be February's short stories, because I have another one that I'm reading for the TBR-a-thon, and you'll see that in another video. Okay, so the other 2 books I got on this little visit was The Nowhere Child, which is an Australian author. I just picked this one up. I think that this one looks very interesting. It was the winner of the Victorian Premier's Literary Award. We have like little state awards and stuff here in Australia, for those that don't know. So this book was published, let me just have a look, back in 2018. On a break between teaching photography classes in Melbourne, Kim Leamy is approached by a stranger investigating the disappearance of a little girl from her Kentucky home 28 years earlier. He believes Kim is that girl. At first, she brushes it off, but when Kim scratches the surface of her family history in Australia, questions arise that aren't easily answered. And I don't want to go on anymore, because that looks like it's going to give me some spoilers. So I thought that was a very interesting. I like a little bit of, oh, are they my family or are they not my family? Yeah, so I seen that and I thought that sounds really interesting. And it won the Victorian Premier's Award and Australian author because, you know, I am a bad Australian resident and I don't read a lot of Australian authors, so I'm trying to rectify that. Okay, so the other one that I got is Alyssa's Grace, which is a Margaret Atwood book. I got this because it was the 1997 shortlisted for the Women's Prize for Fiction. It was also on the Booker. It was shortlisted for the Booker Prize as well. It's Margaret Atwood. I've got a couple of her books now on my shelf. And for those that don't know, I'm actually trying to collect some of the books from over the past 28 years, which is not always the long list, but it's all the shortlist books because that's a lot of books. So yeah, so I've been getting them here, there, and everywhere. I'm starting to cross a few off the list. So this one is on there. I don't know what it's about, but sometimes I whisper it over to myself, murderous, murderous. It rustles like a taffeta skirt along the floor. Grace Marks, female friend, female fatale, or weak and unwilling victim. Around the true story of one of the most enigmatic, notorious women of the 1840s, Margaret Atwood has created an extraordinary, potent tale of sexuality, cruelty, and mystery. So it sounds really interesting. It probably has all the problematic things in it and all the rest of it. But what I did like about it is it had patchwork blocks in it. I've actually created that on the channel, on my craft channel, and like broken dishes and all that sort of stuff. So that was quite interesting when I was looking through it. I'm like, oh, okay, that's interesting. So it has like patchwork blocks and stuff in it. So that is another one that I can tick off the Women's Prize shortlist. All right. Okay, it is going to be a long video, so great. This will do an intermission here. Go grab yourself a drink and come back, and then we'll get into the secondhand bookstores that I went to. Okay, so these are, I went to 3 different secondhand bookstores, so Book Exchange, where we've got credits and stuff like that. Savannah takes any of the books that I don't want anymore to those stores and gets credits for them and swaps them out for books that she wants. All right, so I have a couple of books here that I've been chasing for quite some time. They are so hard to get, like so hard to get. So when I seen them, I jumped on them straight away. I didn't really have the money to do this, but I got them anyway. But so I've paid a little bit more for these. So some of these books are anywhere from $5 to $10. Okay. I have been trying to complete my collection for the series for the Outlander series. So I got 5, 8, and 10. Now I did have 10. I got it for $2 but it was quite damaged, whereas this one was in better condition. So I grabbed this one. So that is, it's a 10. I think it's 10, 9 or 10, one of the two. Let me just have a look, see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes, this is 10. This is book 10. So I'm going to have to mark them so I get them in the right series. So I replaced my old copy with this one. I'm not going to go into detail about them. And then I got 5 and 8. Which one that is, I don't know. I think this is 8 and this one's 5, or it's the other way around. Who knows? But I got them and I completed out the series. God, they're chunkers of books. Like me, they are big, big books. So I'm happy now that I've got all of that series. Another book that I got as well, which I'm completing out the series, is the Sue Grafton alphabet series. This is the last book in her series. She will never finish the series, so there is no Z. This is the last one, and I've got about, I think I got about 8 or 9 of these now, so I'm slowly collecting those as well. Another book that I wanted to get, so that they are the series that I've completed out. Another book that I got, which was 3 Wishes, because I love Leanne Moriarty's writing, and I've have just about all of her books on my shelf now. I paid a little bit more than I wanted to with this one, but I haven't seen this at Bob the Booker, so I haven't been able to get it for $2. So $8 was fine. And yeah, so I will leave a list of the name, because I can't remember the names of the bookstore, so I'll have to look them up. I will leave a list of where they are and all that sort of stuff. So most of the $8 ones came from Maroochydore. I didn't get anything at the second one. And the first one, I'll go through what books they were that I got from the first one. I think it's called the Best Bookstore or something. So yeah, so I got that one. This one's from Maroochydore, so that I can add that to my collection. Okay, so the next one I got, and I don't know why I wanted this book. I think I've seen it somewhere, someone talking about it, said it was a really good book. It is called The Woman in the Window by AJ Finn. I think it seems like a thriller sort of one. It has a really good premise as well. When I And as I said, I don't know where I heard about it, but I think maybe it might have been the cover that's drawn me to it. But when I read the back of it, I'm like, oh, this is interesting. I think I need to read this one. So the back says, what did she see? It's been 10 long months since Anna Fox has last left her home. During that 10 months, she has haunted the rooms of her New York home, like a ghost in her own memories and too terrified to step outside. Anna's lifeline to the real world is a window where she sits day by day watching her neighbours. When the Russells move in, Anna is instantly drawn to them, a picture-perfect family of three. They are an echo of the life that once was hers. But one evening, a frenzied scream rips across the silence, and Anna witnesses something no one else was supposed to see. Now she must do everything she can to uncover the truth of what really happened. But even if she does, will anyone believe her? And can she even trust herself? Sounds like a good book. So, yeah, I'm pretty excited to read that. And from what I can tell, it's set out like Monday, November 1. And whatnot, and then it's got a few chapters and all the rest of it, but it sort of goes through those like dates and all that sort of stuff. So that sounds like a good one to read. The next one I got was part 2 to The Passage, which I'm currently reading. This is part by Justin Cronin, and it's called Fear the Dark, the 12. And so yeah, it's the epic sequel to The Passage, but there is a third book apparently called Mirrors, I think it's called. So yeah, and this one is just as chunky, but not quite as chunky. It has 566 pages in it. So I will continue on with The Passage because I'm loving that and absolutely loving it. So I'm really happy to get into that. Another 2 books that I have been chasing forever, trying to get them online, all that sort of stuff, keep missing out, paid $5 each for these books. And that is Flowers in the Attic. I got that one, and I got Petals on the Wind, which is book 2, I believe. So now I can finally, after all these years of my best friend hassling me to read these, I can finally pick them up and read them. Now, I didn't want to do these on audio. I just wanted to, read them and curl up with them. I'm not doing any vlog about them or anything like that. They're just books that I just want to read. So they'll probably sit on my bedside table, and every now and again I'll pick them up. Another author I wanted to read is The Golden Finch by Donna Tartt. I've got The Secret History. I am looking for the pretty cover of The Secret History. I do have the penguin orange cover up there, but I'm looking for the pretty one. My daughter has it and she won't give it to me. She's mean. But anyway, I picked up The Golden Finch by that author as well. I've heard a lot of good things about The Golden Finch, and I've heard a lot of good things about The Secret History as well. So I want to pick this up and read it. But I'm going to read the Secret History first, and then I'll move on to this one. And there's a couple of other ones as well that she has that Savannah was talking about the other day. So I definitely want to pick this one up. And it's a chunkster. Are you starting to see a theme here? This one's got nearly 800 pages in it. Oh my goodness, I'm going to be here forever. The next one that I picked up, and I have been chasing it for ages, and so has my daughter as well. And she's like, and she wanted this cover, and I'm like, nope, 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 no. And that is Interview with a Vampire. Another one of my friends has hassled the hell out of me to read this book, and I've put it off and put it off and put it off. And in the last couple of weeks, I'm like, you know what? I really want to read Interview with a Vampire. And the first book that I picked up in the Maroochydore shop was this one. And I'm like, yes, I've got it. So yeah, and this one looks like it has never been read, never been touched. So yeah, and I know that there's more in this series as well, like there's Vampire Lestat, and then there's The Queen of the Damned and all that sort of stuff by this author as well. So I'm going on my Anne Rice journey in the next couple of in sometime this year, not in the next couple of months, sometimes this year. The other one that I wanted to also read as well. Now, I already have the first one, which doesn't look like this cover. So the guy said that I can do a complete swap out. Now, this was the first bookshop that I went to. I've got book 1 in the Anita Blake Vampire Hunter series. I've heard that there's a lot of good things about this series. It's a series that I have wanted to read for a long time, but I haven't had the time to do it. And I feel like I've got the time to do that now. As I said, I do have book 1 in a red cover. I like the red covers, but these ones I like a little bit better because the side is numbered to make it easier to go and pick it out. So I got books 2 to 4 And so I'm going to say he's got book 1 down there. I've just got to go when I'm down. I'm going down there in the next couple of weeks. So when I go down, I'm just going to go and ask him again to make sure that it was okay. He did say it was okay, but just to touch base with him again if it's okay to swap out for the red covers. Sorry, for the red cover for this cover. So he does have it down there. Has a lot of them. So I'll be getting some more when I go back down. I just these were $4 each, were they? No, $8 each. I got these for. So yeah, so that is the first 4 in those. So it's another chunky series that I'm going to be starting. The other books that I got, Tanya French, I got Faithful Place. I got that for $8, and then I've got In the Woods. That cover looks creepy as. So yeah, and it's got the sprayed edges on it and all that sort of stuff. So I'm not too sure what this one's about, but I have seen it popping up everywhere. You're 12 years old, it's the summer holidays, you're playing in the woods with your 2 best friends, something happens, something terrible, and the other 2 are never seen again. 20 years on, Rob Ryan, the child who came back, is a detective for the Dublin police force. He's changed his name and no one knows about his past. Even he has no memory of what happened that day. Then a little girl's body is found at the site of the old tragedy, and Rob is drawn back into the mystery. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to reading that one. And then The Faithful Place, that one is 20 years on, Frank is still in Dublin working as an undercover cop when his sister calls to say that Rosie's suitcase has been found. Faithful Place is a story of family and secrets, love and loss, of how sometimes the prism through which we view the past can shift, and everything we think we have seen must be reevaluated. Oh, I like books like that. Forgot that that's what it was about. I did read the back of them, but when you're reading like 30 books or something like that, you start to blend and all that sort of stuff. So I got those two on that because I have been told that Tanya Woods is a really good writer, so I need to read her. Okay, so this one is another Chrissy recommended. Now this was on my August TBR that Chrissy put together for me, and I couldn't get it. Like I had it on back order on Amazon, couldn't get it. Other places were sold out and all the rest of it, and then I found it. So I thought, you know what, I'll grab it, so at least then I can say that I read that TBR. And yeah, it was just I didn't want to pay a lot of money for it either. And this one looks like it's just like from Big W or somewhere like that, but I got it for $8. And I can't even remember what it was about. Had closed his eyes. Too many strangers were coming to his dump these nights. His regular clients brought him the bodies of evil ones, but these strangers, he shook his head. These strangers keep bringing innocence. Oh, okay. Fair enough. Oh, this is a debut crime novel. Okay. Very good. Hayes Archer, a man they call the Lord of the Underworld, surrounds himself with things that others leave behind. Their trash becomes the twisted sculptures that line his junkyard. The bodies they want to dispose become his problem for a fee. Then one night, a man arrives on his doorstep clutching a small bundle that he once lost, and Hayes makes a decision that will change everything. 20 years later, homicide detective Frank Burnett feels like the luckiest man on the force when he meets his new partner, the dark and beautiful Eden Archer. But there's something strange about Eden and her brother Eric, something he can't quite put his finger on. Frank is now on the hunt for a very different kind of serial killer, one who offers the sick and dying hope at a murderous cost. At first, his partner's sharp instincts come in handy. Soon, he's wondering if she's as dangerous as the man that they hunt. Interesting. There you go. I forgot what it was about. So, yeah, I've got that now, Chrissy. I can finish off the TBR because that was the only book that I couldn't read because I didn't have it. I did replace it with something else, though. I can't remember what I replaced it with. I replaced it with something. And, of course, I couldn't go past lessons in chemistry. I've seen this all over everywhere, and it keeps catching my eye, and I keep not wanting to pay $30 for it or $22 for it. This is in pretty good nick, and it was $9, so I grabbed that. Don't even know what that's about, but I don't care. The other one that I have been wanting to read for a while is The Inheritance Game. So I ended up picking that up. I think most of you probably have either read it or seen it or whatever. It's all over TikTok and all that sort of stuff. So I've got that one now, which is good. And one that I've wanted to get for ages and ages and ages, and I do not know why it is not on my shelf. And that is The Color Purple. So I picked that up for myself. So I'm looking forward to reading that. And that is going to get read sooner rather than later because I want to go and see the movie. Okay, so the next lot of books that I got are actually classic books. Okay, so these are just books that I'm putting on my shelf so I can read them. The synopsis sounded pretty cool, and I thought, it'd be a good one to read and all that sort of stuff. But this one here, which is Jane Austen's Mansfield Park, was one of my favorite of Jane Austen's, because I'm not a huge Jane Austen fan to begin with. Like, I like her writing and stuff like that, but I'm not I'm not a fangirl or anything. Bronte sisters, that's a whole different kettle of fish. I love their writing. I love how they write their women and stuff like that. But Mansfield Park was one of the ones that I did actually like out of Jane Austen. So I grabbed that. I'll probably do a reread of this at some stage and mark this book up because it's, it was just a cheap one. It's a Penguin classic as well. And the cover's pretty as well. So yeah, and the spine's pretty too. The other ones that I got, these are from the vintage collection. So I've got a few of these books on my shelf. This one sounded really interesting. So this is by Richard Fangian. It's called Gould's Book of Fish. It's set in Australia as well, which is good. So this one is once upon a time, that was called 1828, before all the fishes in the sea and all the living things on the land were destroyed, there was a man named William Burlow Gould, a white convict who fell in love with a black woman and discovered too late that to love is not safe. Silly Billy Gould, invader of Australia, liar, murderer, and forger, condemned to the most feared penal colony in the British Empire, and there ordered to paint a book of fish. Once upon a time, there were miracles. So I was intrigued by that. I have no idea who this author is or anything like that, or anything else they've written. But that premise alone intrigued me. So I'm looking forward to reading this one because I'm like, color me intrigued. So yeah, I went with that one. And this one is the most breathtaking love story ever told. Is now a major new musical. Dr. Zhivago I think is how you pronounce it, and it is Boris Pasternak. I don't know how to pronounce that, but that is the author's name there. There you go. That you can see. I love the cover too. This cover is really good. So Dr. Zhivago is an epic novel of Russia in the throes of a revolution and one of the greatest love stories ever told. Yuri Zhivago, physician and poet, wrestles with the new order and confronts the changes cruel experience has made him, and the anguish of being torn between the love of two women. So yeah, so that sounds like I have no idea other than that. So that is one that I'm looking forward to reading as well. And I've seen that, like I've seen that, like every time I go to these bookshops, I see it all the time, and I finally picked it up. Okay, so I have no idea who this author is or anything, but it's a nice, easy one to pronounce. It's Dodie Smith. I Capture the Castle. It's another classic. I like the cover of it. It caught my eye. A lot of these ones, they just catch my eye, and that's why I grabbed them. There were tons there, and I only grabbed 3 of them. So Cassandra lives with her bohemian and impoverished family in a crumbling castle in the middle of nowhere. She records her life with her beautiful bored sister Rose, and her fadingly glamorous stepmother Topaz, her little brother Thomas, and her eccentric novelist father, who suffers from financially crippling writer's block. However, all their lives are turned upside down when the American heirs to the castle arrive, and Cassandra finds herself falling in love for the first time. So that seems like they're 3 love stories. So a little bit of vintage romance, I guess. Probably going to be some problematic stuff in that because of, when they were published and all the rest of it. But those are the ones that I got for the classic shelves. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to getting into them. But that is it. I don't even want to know how many books I got, but before anybody freaks out about how many books I bought, remember, I bought them all secondhand. So no trees were harmed in the making of this video. And I also read 95 books off my physical shelf last year. So a lot of these books will get knocked over this year as well, because we're right in the beginning of the year. So yeah, so I've really just replaced the ones that I read last year. Okay, we'll just leave it at that. And of course, I'm collecting the Agatha Christie's and all that sort of stuff as well. And the Nora Roberts one. Well, you know, they may end up going to back to Bob the booker, because the simple fact is I might not like them, but at least I've got a few there I'm going to give it a decent go. I'll give it, you know, probably 10 books or whatever. They're not super huge books or anything. So yeah, and I'm pretty sure I can find them at the library on audio if I need to. But that is it from me today. I'm sorry that I've kept you so long, but I just wanted to show you my final book haul for 2023. I can honestly say that the book hauls that I'll be getting this year will probably be more along the lines of non-fiction stuff, because I want to put more non-fiction into my repertoire. But of course, I am going to be going and visiting the shops quite regularly, so I probably will end up with some book hauls along the way. But as I said, that is it from me today. Have a wonderful day, everybody. And don't forget, keep turning those pages, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.